Alright, we're going to be watching ImZsd, who's going to be playing Lucio on New Queen Street. This is Plat 3 on PC. And I'm still sick, my apologies, so you're going to hear some coughing through this video. Most of my games, I feel like I'm not in control of them and dictated by how good my DPS/tank are. This game felt different, as if I could have done better to win it, but I'm not sure how, hence why I'm asking for a VOD review. I would also recommend shorter sentences. Mechanics is definitely something I could work on, and also positioning, but the main thing I want to know is if my amps were actually useful or useless. Okay, I haven't done a Lucio video in a while, so figured it's a good opportunity to do one. So for starters, I think you should recognize that you're pretty much the only person receiving any speed at this point. You got three teammates over here, so they're still sort of getting it. You've left your Genji like way behind. I think in this situation you should recognize, hey, also line of sight blocks aura, so they're definitely not getting it right now. You've crossed over enough that you're still giving like one or two of them. The real question is it useful for you to get to the fight sooner, faster than your teammates? Because you're always going to be faster than basically any of your teammates, unless they're like Ball or Doomfist or whatever, right? Because of wall ride. So if it's an advantage for you to get there sooner, then do so. So a good example is Lijiang Garden, right? Where if you can get across the map fast enough, you can basically hold the entire bridge yourself by moving people off the bridge. Now, if that's not the case, which I would say is the case for New Queen Street, which you're going to show up early and do absolutely nothing, then you should hang back and make sure that you speed the whole team in particular whoever is the person in the back, because you want all five to be there as soon as possible. Getting there as 4 and 5 is often actually bad for your team because someone can get picked early. So this is already, I would say, pretty sloppy. Like, you ran all the way here and then just basically played still anyway, right? Because now you're just kind of chilling and not taking advantage of the speed to, for example, get all the way over here and deny this angle. You're just speeding to speed. You know? And you see how far back your Genji is? Granted, he's also kind of AFK, but I think that you still want to be pulling, from at a minimum, your Hanzo into the situation. So again, stuff like this is just sloppy, and it seems like it doesn't make a difference until you end up losing because you have only 4 people there. So, we're starting to see the enemy lineup, alright? You saw some people at choke, you see the Winston is going for a flank. Okay? Looking at their enemy lineup, what's their job? Well, for starters, we have the Kiriko. Is it your job to do a Kiriko? You can kind of contest her, right? You can definitely fight her and force her to Swift step if she's out of position. Genji. You can do a lot about the Genji. You can poke him out, right? You can push him back. You can prevent him from killing anybody by amping a heal. You can do a lot against Genji. Cassidy, not your problem. For the most part, it is very dangerous for you to get anywhere near Cassidy. He can triple body shot you at up to like 10, 15 meters away. Stay the hell away from Cassidy if all possible, right? And also, if you're wall riding up in the open, he can high noon and kill you very easily. Moira, you can maybe pressure her. It's definitely not a consistent fight, I think, at your level, unless you have really good mechanics. Because the thing is, like, Moira's aim doesn't scale, right? At Plat, you're already hitting 80, 90% of the tracking. At Diamond, you're hitting like 100%. You can't get better tracking than 100%. But with Lucio, if you're hitting 100% of your shots, you're god at Lucio. So there's a higher skill ceiling there for Lucio than there is for Moira, for sure. But at your level, I doubt you can consistently win sorry, a one-on-one against Moira when she's at full health. So mostly, it's avoid Moira unless she's very low, and then you can pressure her out, or she's used Fate. So, the final character is Winston. All right, Winston you could do a ton against, right? Again, constantly booping him back, preventing him from landing where he wants to be, will dramatically reduce his damage. And why do I say all this? Because Lucio, right, doesn't actually heal all that well. And he doesn't do damage all that well. And his ult is the longest ultimate in the game to farm. So, what is good about Lucio, right? Typically, 2 things. Number 1, speed. Speed is super good, right? Speed is great. In fact, it's been so great that Lucio has been meta in OWL for forever, because if you rather have more health or more speed, pretty much all top players pick more speed. Because health is easy to burn through, speed is very hard to deal with. That's number 1. Number 2 is your peeling ability is very, very strong. All right, you're a good survivalist duelist. Okay, it's very hard to kill you if you have good mechanical skill. You have a good ability set to prevent people from dying, yourself and anyone around you. Okay, and you can reposition enemies. Sorry, this is gonna be a tough video. You can reposition enemies easily. So your perspective here should be: if I shut down the Winston and or the Genji, we probably win this game. Okay? That should be your perspective, is if I shut down one or both of those heroes, we are good to go. And I am probably going to win. Now, your mistakes will probably be not doing those things and doing something else that is very low value. So you're looking for the Winston, which is great. I think going up to the Winston is a mistake. Because if you go up to the Winston, I'm just going to step forward and I'm going to zap you until you boop. And after you boop, then I'm going to jump into your backline. No? Like, you don't want to walk forwards because that gives them the opportunity to jump past you. So, you see your Genji go in here, you should follow your Genji in. Right? Why? Because you're not the main healer, right? The main healer here is Kiriko, who's going to keep your Rhine up. So, unless you're speeding your Rhine into the enemy, it's a better use of your time to just be playing with your Genji, which is not sitting around this corner. It is playing over here and trying to poke anybody that he's poking. You see? You're not doing anything right now of value. And this is why I think you say, like, oh, you feel like you're not controlling the game? Because you're not doing anything. Like, is what you're doing right now valuable? Like, let's look at these few seconds, okay? So, starting from right here, like, this is okay. Now the Winston's gone, okay? Let's track how long it is before you do anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, you see, like, you got 12 plus seconds now of doing literally nothing. Right? Now the Moira is going to fade in front of you, which is extremely lucky. But not providing value is why you lose games. Or at least you don't influence the game at all. You could have done so much here. Okay? So again, right now, as soon as you see you're alone, you don't want to contest this. But if your Genji's in, yeah, go ahead and contest this. Okay? You could have jumped up here and help poke, for example, right? Or gone here and tried to poke. Okay? Again, if the Winston dives you, you can just boom him back and speed away. You're in very little danger to Winston. It's almost impossible for Winston to kill you if you have cooldowns up. Okay? Barring that, you could have gone over here, let your Hanzo stay on cart, and speed your ride into their team. Also would have been useful. Hell, you could have just been sitting here and just spamming to farm ulti. That could have been useful. Anything other than just jumping around here doing literally nothing. So Moira's gonna fade right here. You should have heard / seen that. It was literally dead center of your screen. You should kill her right away. Instead, you choose not to kill her because you aren't interested in killing the Moira, which is fine. You come back here to try to help your Kiriko. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, jump on the monkey. I would try to figure out where my Kiriko is because I know she's injured and I need to be able to heal her. You decide to go with the Rhine, which is also okay in the situation. I mean, we'll take it. As a reminder, cart does not move any faster when there's more people on it. In push mode only, it maxes at 1. Regular payload, it maxes at 3. So there's no reason to stay on the cart. You want to go to heal now? Yeah, there's nothing's going on, so stay and heal. Just spam. When you spam, try to spam at head level so you get headshots. We're not doing anything right now. I think staying in heal is fine, right? Nobody's trying to move in aggressively. If you see your Ryan's like trying to push up, then switch to speed and help. But your Ryan's like, hey, look, they're not really contesting right now, so we'll take. Sorry, we'll take the cart all the way to the point. You know, which I think is fair. I think your Ryan's like, I don't want to chase out here and have the Ryan dive my backline. I think this is actually a good call, the Ryan to just stay put. So Winston's coming. Again, your goal should be, hey, this Winston's gonna dive. I want to peel that. Now you make your first big mistake right now, which is you overextend. Imagine the space between your tank and their tank as no man's land. As support should never be standing in this space right here. Okay, just as a general rule of thumb, do not stand here unless you have a very good reason to be doing so. You step way too far forward, and you see that all 3 of them suddenly look at you and you're like, wait, you're overextended. We can kill you. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is that you see this damage orb coming, and you simply run in the path of the damage orb, allowing it to do 50 damage a second to you, and now you see the Winston goes in, and now you're super, super low, which is going to force out your amp heal. Nope, you don't even get it off. So this is very, very sloppy, right? And I haven't watched this video yet, so I know you're going to die there, but I just told you, like, I called it because it's very obvious that you're overextended, that everyone's going to target you here. Right? Their team literally was like, oh, shoot, like the Winston doesn't want to go in because he doesn't want to jump into the Rhine. So they're literally just going to let you walk all the way up and cap this point. You fed this fight away by simply standing in a really bad spot and letting them kill you. All you had to do was just stand on the cart. That would have been fine. Stand on the cart, wait for the Winston to jump, poop him back. Great. Good to go. You win the game. Like, it seems very silly, but all you had to do was simply not step forward here and you were totally fine. So everything goes awry. Again, assume when you die, the fight's over, right? Because I never want my teammates to carry me to a win. You know, I want to be a huge part of that victory. I never expect my team. If they do win it, if they do win, great. But I never expect that win. So you go in here, and then you're like dueling this monkey, which is not a good trade for you. So monkey does 60 damage a second, and he cannot miss. Okay, you do 86 damage a second, 65 with your reload, and you can miss. So this is not so great for you. Also, you should be on healing right now because your speed's not helping you anyway. The Winston's not going to miss you, right? He's got a massive spread, like, AoE gun. He's not going to miss you. So you see the Reaper, and now you're stuck in a decision. Do I help the Rhine, or do I peel the Reaper? I think in this situation, I would look and be like, okay, my Rhine is full health, has shield, he's out here, my Kiriko's with him, great. I think I just go for the Reaper now. I want to go back here, I want to take an angle to prevent the Reaper from getting close to the soldier and boop him back if necessary. If he gets super low in Wraiths, I can follow him for a kill. Okay, Reaper dies. Great, no problem. So, when the Winston's in the bubble, generally speaking, you do want to dive into the bubble. Winston is not a good hero for you to get closer to. He is a tank. He does damage at close range, like many tanks. You do damage at long range. You can do damage at mid range. You have no need to get closer to enemies to deal damage, especially tanks that are going to farm you for ult charge. Right? This is unnecessary for you to be going in. It overexposes you. Okay, let's look at your positioning right now. Okay, you see how you're way like in between the Mei, the Kiriko, and the Winston. You're super overextended right now. Right? This is very, very sloppy. Your team is going to win this fight because you just numbers and kill the Reaper initially, but that is very, very much luck, and I don't think you made that decision or recognized that information when you did this play immediately. That type of sloppy play where you're like, oh, whatever, I can just like run into the enemy and it's fine, will get you killed and punished over and over again. And that's a big difference between you and Diamond, is that you just don't understand what an overextension looks like. And you don't expect people to be able to hit you. And at higher ranks, they will obliterate you when you stand in the open. Like, you will be shocked at how fast you will die. So, over here, Winston comes in out of nowhere. Where the hell did he come from? Even I can't figure out from your perspective where he came from. Oh, okay. So when you go over here... Sorry. You would also hear him jump, by the way. I don't have sound on in the replay. So you should have seen... You can see the bare edge of his jump jets. So you should see this coming, and you should have booped this right now. But regardless, he's in. Right? So the correct decision is just to pop Amp here. Amp will heal you for 52 to allies, 32.5 to yourself. Winston only does 60 damage a second, so this will halve his damage to you, and then you can use wall right to get away while you're healing. Alright, you amp a little late here. Okay, so when he lands on you right here, you should look, and when he does the jump, you should boop him right now to prevent him from landing on you, because that does 50 splash damage, plus the melee is 80 damage, which could have instantly killed you. Right? You pop it too late, so he hits you with this. He's going to keep chasing you down. Yep. And now you need to look and start multitasking. Who is he going for? How can I save them? Because you can easily save them as Lucio. You can't just prioritize your own life. You're totally fine. Like, you're basically full health. Winston cannot kill you anymore. So you're not looking at the Hanzo, which is where you should be looking. You see how you're just running for your life because you think the Winston's chasing you the whole time, but he's not. Right? You're at 170 health. The Winston cannot kill you anymore. Okay. You gotta get back. You gotta start healing the Hanzo. Recognizing that there's two injured here, you should have jumped up top to make sure that you had line of sight on both. Right? You just ran way too far. And because you ran way too far, you're not here in position to help heal or speed your Kiriko, so your Kiriko's gonna die. So you could have saved Kiriko here. Right? You should have already like gotten Hanzo much higher health. Winston's gonna chase you. Yeah, don't worry about that. And now the fight's over. Right? Just reset. This is a reset now. So again, positional misplays here, just not being in position to help your team. Right? The correct distance to run when you're being chased is not as far as you can. The correct distance to run is just enough distance that you are safe. That applies to basically all heroes, right? The moment they stop chasing me is the moment when they realize the value of chasing me is worse than the value of going back. And that's typically the moment where your value is now better to attack them versus run away, if that makes sense. You know, it's like if someone tries to punch you, the goal is not, you know, if I'm in a fight with somebody, not if I'm just like randomly being assaulted, but if I'm in a fight with somebody, the goal when they try to punch me is not for me to like run a block away. It's for me to dodge just enough that they miss me so that I can counterpunch. If I run too far away, I cannot counterpunch and exploit the opportunity from them having swung at me. It's a very similar concept. So you come back here. I think you're still being chased by what? The Winston? So you should really look right now and see, hey, like what's going on? All right, Winston's overextended and died. Great. So you killed 2, right? So you want to get your team back in as soon as possible. Definitely want to prevent forward spawn. Good. Right. All right, force Kiriko. You want to kill the Mei? Yep. Mei has no cooldowns now. I would switch to heal right now. I would move the cart right now since nobody else is moving the cart. It's not your job to taxi, right? Like, ideally, you would be taxiing, but realistically at this point, you should just be moving the cart. Right? I would move the cart and then climb to the left and give the Kiriko a swift step target. This is a mistake. You see how much... you could have moved the cart from here all the way to here and picked up the Kiriko in equal time. You should heal, right? You see that soldier's at critical health. Right? He's around the corner, like he's safe. Just pop healing right now. Sorry, those cops are gonna be loud in the video, I'm sure. Winston's coming in, right? I want to do a save. I think it would have been good here to just boop him off the bus right away. He wants to be in the bus. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to be off the bus. So by booping him off right now and knocking him off the bus, that's someplace he doesn't want to be and helps keep your Hanzo safe. It's too late now because bubble is up. You're not looking at your Hanzo at all. You should be looking to be like, hey, I should stay with him so I can heal, amp, and save him. Right? Yep, good, right? See, that's like the first play where I'm like, yes, I think you did the correct thing here, which is keeping the Winston back. So, after you boop Winston back, he's no longer a threat. He just literally can't do anything at this point. You don't need to look at him anymore. Versus, you're getting shot from the left, so I would look to the left and be like, what is shooting at me? How close are they? Do any of my teammates need help? There's no point focusing on Winston for like another 4 seconds until he gets his jump jumps back. I think it's good to pressure Kiriko here. I do not think you should have used boop. I don't think that would have helped you at all, really. Okay, I would expect her to switch step anyway. You see your soldiers in trouble. You should come over. That would have been a really good opportunity to boop. Right, so right here, I want to curve to the left and then boop the Winston away. So you don't do any of that correctly or at all. You let your Hanzo die, again, easily savable. You know, at any point in time, if you just came back faster, you could have saved this Hanzo for sure. With amp or speed, either one would have saved him. Or boop, like any of the 3. And now your Rhine is in, and you're running away from this Mei because she's popped Blizzard. Right, so you just speed out. But the thing is, again, you're going too far, right? Your Rhine's in right now. Just play with your Rhine. As soon as you got out of this, you should have just jumped around here, jumped here, gone over here. And you see how there's 2 easy kills right now? If only this Rhine had speed. This would be 2 kills, and your Rhine wouldn't have to shatter and get absolutely... Oh, your Rhine gets 2. But he's forced to shatter to get it. You know? And you've been holding beat for I don't know how long. Like 2 minutes? When did you get beat? Did you beat right now at 3:14? Okay, so it's already been 1 minute and 15 seconds. I'm not saying you should have beaten this fight. I'm just clarifying that you had opportunities to beat earlier and you have not even using them. So you're at 1.5 minutes and you still have not used beat. So not great. You're playing way too far back from your soldier. Again, I think you overestimate how much danger you're in as Lucio, right? One of the best things about Lucio is that he can play much closer to danger than other supports because he's so mobile and he has boop and he has a good burst heal. So you should be playing up here helping the soldier in case he gets dove, which is exactly what happens right now. You should be helping the soldier. You've chosen not to help the soldier because you do not care about your team and he dies. Is the soldier overextended? Absolutely. But a big part of support is helping your teammates when they make mistakes. If you've been playing here, you could have saved your support, your soldier. And now you're fighting 4 and 5. Right, good boop. So this is a 4 and 5 right now, but maybe winnable. I'd say this rank is pretty winnable because people make a lot of mistakes. At higher ranks, I would say this is basically unwinnable. it's extraordinarily unlikely that you will win this 4 and 5. Missed the boop. Gotta get back. You gotta pop heal. Yeah. Alright, it's good. So try to time your boop for when he's doing his jump. He gets jump every 2 seconds while in Primal Rage. Missed the boop again. You really need heal right now. Everyone is like super low. Alright, they got forward spawn. So this is a good opportunity where you should hit, tab, check the scoreboard, see who got forward spawn, if at all. So a good example where it's not actually a good idea to boop him in this direction, because this is actually, your soldier is currently overextended, right? You do not want to be knocking him towards the exit. You'd want to boop him this way, if anything, to help your team kill him. Instead, you boop him away, which I'm sure he's still, he's running in that direction. Obviously, he wants to go in that direction. Don't boop him in the direction they want to go. Do not challenge a soldier one-on-one. That is not a skill that is going to scale. Later on, soldiers will absolutely annihilate you. So they have high ground control.
Come on, kids. We're almost at the finish line.
Alright, good job kind of slowing down the monkey, but I think that you would have been better off just playing normal, right? And just preventing the monkey from getting in at all. You don't have to force this beat if you don't have to. Great. Monkey overcommits, dies. You're up 2. Right, should be an easy time. Again, I think you should have been healing a little more, but that's fine. You're kind of bringing your Rhine in, trying to get kills. So right here, when you pass this Moira, you miss an opportunity to boop her back towards your Rhine. Right here, turn and boop towards your Rhine to make sure she dies. I like the general aggression though. I think this is good. Kill soldier. Just keep spamming her. Pretty regular. Shadows out. Melee. Great. This all looks good, right? They're just constantly staggered and trickling in. I think that's a good... Wait. What's... it's like you come back to taxi and then you decide not to taxi. I think you think it's a Kiriko, but obviously you should have come back and taxied this Cassidy forwards. So now you lose your Kiriko for nothing because you didn't even pull off the taxi correctly. You try to contest the soldier. Again, not really your job right now to do. This fight's probably lost. They're going to have high ground advantage and they have close spawn. You come back to help your... Oh. So the second you go out here, you've already swapped the heat. You should have been amping already as you came out that window, which would have given him just a little bit more health, and you should have booped right away. And I think you would have saved him. If you've been amping as you came out this, and then right-click him right away, I think you save your Cassidy. So I'm going to say that's another death that you could have prevented. You go, pick up your Kiriko, great. So killed 2, lost 1, lost 2, right? And then you just suicide into the enemy team. Again, your tank's not here, right? You're just kind of running it straight down main. So look at it from their perspective. Right? You just run front die. Big mistake by you. You still haven't popped beat. We're now 3/4 of the way through the match. I think it's a combination of you just being dead, you not keeping people alive when they're getting picked, so you're not just getting good opportunities to get beat off because you're just never in group team fight situations. Good view. So that's a problem. So number 1, bubble line of sight blocks beat. So bubble, for example, will block it. You have a 0.8 grace period after you land that you can run through it to potentially get someone on the other side. But you whiff this pretty badly. So you're already down 1. Okay, right? Because the Rhine has split your team. Soldier's overextended. This is a mistake. Soldier really should have been running backwards. Soldier is already dead. So you're down 1. Your Rhine is at half, but he's blocked by the bubble. So then you nearly die. That is as close as you possibly could have cut this. You really should be dead right now. Right? You got all the way down to like sub 20 health when you pop this. Rhine, you notice, does not have the beat. You try to come in to get him, but then you decide to turn back instead of, I don't know, just going through and giving him some shot of getting this beat. And so now you beat when you only have 4 people, one of whom is super low and does not get it. In fact, neither DPS nor the Rhine get it. So just the supports get it, who are the least in danger of everyone. So this ends up being super low value beat. Very unfortunate. And then you just get out.
We're gonna lose the lead. Step up.
As to your questions of whether or not your amps are useful, I mean, yeah, I think they're generally useful. I think that you could still be better about them. Like your amp heal could have been used to save somebody, but they're not explicit. I don't think your amps are your problem here. So you do a thing where you're over fixated on the Winston. So what you're gonna do is you're like, oh, the Winston, I'm gonna go this way, right? But you notice where your back is facing when you do this? This direction, which means you easily could have died, right? Look, you see, you should be dead right now. You're extremely lucky that the Cassidy just completely whiffs here. Right? One body shot kills you right now. Oh, he's reloading. Or a magnetic grenade, which he whiffs. Because I think maybe Suzu saved you there. So, instead of going this way, right, when this Winston goes in, just keep counting backwards, right? Counting backwards is fine. Like, he's not, don't do this where you go to the left. Big mistake. Right, you're also clumping with the rest of your team, which allows them to hit more people, which does more damage, which runs more ult charge. Alright, you're trying to advance with speed right now. You're up to, yeah, hit the Moira. Okay, now you're going for the soldier. Okay, the greed. Very lucky to not be dead. Winston's popped ulti. Again, another thing where I know the Winston bumped you over here, but he's not making you continue to walk backwards, right? And you see now you're getting absolutely lit up, and you're like, oh, look, there's enemies? No, no way. How could this happen? And then you die. So once again, resist the urge to dive into Winston bubbles. Like, Winston bubbles are not good for you. Another example where you overextend and die, right? You just kind of jump into open space, and then the Cassidy just kills you. Like, this is not even a hard shot. Like, this is not good movement. Like, I think, especially for newer Lucio players, they think, oh, if I'm wall jumping, I'm hard to hit. That's not true. Not necessarily. Right? This is not a difficult shot for him. He's just like, oh, okay, you're here. You're going to jump directly up. Great. If you were just AD spamming, you would be much better off than what you just did right there. There are ways to make yourself very evasive in the air. You are not doing them correctly. And I encourage you to look up Lucio movement guides to understand what is or is not evasive movement. But either way, there's no reason for you to be peeking there. You didn't have your tank yet. So Winston has jumped in. I would land on the inside corner of him and then boop him backwards to make sure that he's going to die here. Okay, Ryan's taking care of it. Ryan's playing pretty well, I'd say. It definitely feels like your Ryan is probably the best player in the team. So I would say that it's really kind of important right now where you're already down a soldier and down your Hanzo, right? Hanzo's respawning. You really need to get this pick on this Cassidy. You really, really need to get this pick on your Cassidy. I would have like definitely aggressed a little bit because now without getting this pick, like, things are just gonna get worse and worse for you. Yep. Getting annihilated. I honestly would have just died here. I think escaping is tricky, but they're just gonna let you go. Oh, nope. Hanzo's gone in. For DPS holding high ground, Winston's gonna jump. Yep, good boop. I think that's a very high value boop that you did right there. The whole team would have wiped if you had. So I don't think it's a reason for you to go this far away to the flank. You know, it's not like you knew High Noon was coming. So High Noon's still up. You have not heard the shot. Now you're jumping in the air. Oh man, you should have died. Right, he can see you. Like right there, he should have just shot and killed you. Especially knowing that you should be very close to beat right now. If he kills you, there's like no way that your team can win. So your perspective right now should be, hey, I'm very close to beat. Beat's how I, can rescue this fight. I just want to spam. I want to stay safe. I want to play behind bus. I do not want to jump into the open, which is what I do right here. And then he fires and then kills you. All you had to do was just sit behind this and just shoot the Winston, farm up your last bit of beat, and then pop beat. And that's game. So, well, what am I going to say? So I think number one, I don't think you really know what your job is at Lucio. Or at least I don't think you seem inclined to want to do it enough, right? A big part of Lucio's value is his peeling ability. I think the speed part, I think you get that. But the peeling is like you're like it's kind of situational. You're like, yeah, sometimes I'll do it, and sometimes I won't. And you don't understand how easily you can rescue people from bad situations. Lucio's super good with that, right? He's arguably the best support at rescuing people, even better than Kiriko. Because Kiriko can only save you for half a second of invulnerability, but Lucio can speed you out of terrible positions and burst heal you. So I think that you should really try to focus on that more, which is how do I keep teammates alive, right? Number one. Number two, how do I peel enemies off? Are the two biggest things. And number three, generally being in good positions to respond to what's happening, which will also put you in better positions to do number four, which is popping your ultimate, right? You had only one beat in 10 and a half minutes of play. Like, let's just think about that. You're averaging one ultimate per 10, which is really, really poor. And the one ultimate you had was awful. It was literally useless. Like, if you had not popped ultimate at all, it would have been better because you would have had ultimate for another fight. Like, you literally didn't change the fight at all. So, I think, sorry for all the coughing. I think that those are probably the big general tips that I would give you to dramatically improve your Lucio play. Oh, yeah, I would say fifth point, don't overextend. Like, you overextend, jump into the open, expect people not to hit you, and they hit shots, and then you surprise Pikachu face when you instantly die. Don't expect people to miss you, right? Always assume people will hit you is a good rule because that's going to be true the more and more you climb. All right, hopefully that's helpful.